So I want to talk to you today, ladies, about diet sabotage, especially female diet sabotage. Now what happens is when you develop negative emotional attachments to diet and to food and to how you eat, usually it leads you to places you don't want to go. And you have to remember that where the mind goes, behavior follows. So what usually happens is I see people, they're doing okay, and then something triggers an event where you can't follow the diet the way you want to. And then what happens mentally, you see that as bad, or you see it as wrong. You start eating bad food, and then this creates a whole domino effect of diet sabotage. So I get letters like this all the time. Something triggers a bad meal or a bad day. A lady ends up eating, and what happens is you feel bad about it, you feel frustrated about it, and what does that do? Does it stop the behavior? No, it fuels more of it, doesn't it? When you start feeling frustration, anger, guilt, or hostility towards a diet indiscretion, it takes you right where you don't want to go, doesn't it? And I see this all the time. I just got a letter this morning from a lady who's beside herself because one little diet indiscretion led to her eating chocolate, and then she led her to saying screw it, so she went out for breakfast and had eggs and bacon and toast and dessert, and then she said, okay, that's it, I'm done with that, it's over, I'll get better, and then finds that she went home and then she's eating stuff she wasn't even hungry for, eating things that were left over in the fridge, eating dessert just because it was there, and then gets angry, quote-unquote angry at myself. Well, where does angry at myself lead to? Does it lead to correcting your behavior, or does it lead to more sabotage? It leads to more sabotage, doesn't it? So you got to think about that in real terms. Again, what I'm stressing here is where the mind goes, behavior goes. You take the mind into negative emotional attachment to food or eating, and behavior is going to follow that. So you're sabotaging yourself. Now, the dumbest thing you can do in that scenario is to think that a diet is the answer. In a lot of ways, diets can be the problem, or the way you think about and feel about diet can be the problem. In this sense, filtering how you feel about yourself, your self-esteem, via whether or not you're sticking to a diet or have a diet indiscretion, and what kind of domino effect that leads to in your mind. So remember, getting angry and frustrated at yourself produces anxious energy. Anxious energy leads to behavior that you don't want. Where the mind goes, behavior follows. So it's not about a diet correction at that point. It's about a mindset correction. And I've been helping ladies correct their diet mentalities for over a decade now. So if this is something you can relate to, this is something familiar to you, then by all means look me up, Scott Abel Coaching, one-on-one coaching. I help women all the time deal with correcting this mindset of self-sabotage. Because what happens is, once you have that first diet indiscretion and you keep eating and you don't know why, okay, it's because you have a dual goal here in terms of your emotional mindset. Your negative emotional attachment to food and eating now leads you to more eating. One, why? Because you're angry and you feel guilty, so you want to punish yourself. And the best way to punish yourself is with food. But what food also does is relieve you of the anxious state you're in. It has a numbing effect on you. So it has a sort of 1-2 punch in your own head in terms of you getting some emotional relief from continuing to eat because it keeps your mind occupied and numb, but it also feels that need when you're angry and frustrated to punish yourself for the indiscretion you had. So again, none of this is a diet problem. So to keep looking for another diet to solve it isn't going to do it. The answer lies in mindset. And again, the title of this video is going to be, so you remember it, where the mind goes, behavior follows. Okay? So again, I've been helping ladies deal with this for over a decade now. If this sounds like you, get a hold of me on scottable.com or my one-on-one coaching page. I'm sure we'll be able to put a link here. And that's what I wanted to say today. Where the mind goes, behavior follows. And with ladies and diet sabotage, it usually has to do with negative emotional attachments to food and or eating. It's just not the way our minds evolved to be. So think about it, and by all means, add some comments.